staff midwife. I work under Tolong district in the northern region. I am a member of GRNMA, and last year I have not been well. I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and actually during my diagnosis I was so devastated, so depressed, because we all know what the cost of breast cancer or any cancer condition in Ghana. And lo and behold, I was one person that actually didn't believe in the dream of GRNMA. Before I was sick, I always had issues with my district chairman, Mr. Augustine. I was virtually at the edge of leaving the association. But then breast cancer came in, and that was my last resort. I quickly ran to my district chairman, spoke to him, and he told me all I needed was to write a letter. And within 2 months, I was given 50,000 Ghana cedis to help me with my treatment. And this 50,000 Ghana cedis has been amazing. It has gone a long way to help me during my treatment. And so today, I am speaking to other nurses, midwives, all health professionals to join GRNMA. Let's all come together. It is not because I have benefited. I am not the only nurse who benefited from this fund. Even other nurses that I met during my treatment have also benefited from this fund. And I am so excited. As at last year, if you had seen me, but today as you are seeing me, I look fine by God's grace. I look fine. And I give all thanks to my district's executives, Mr. Augustine. He has been so wonderful. Aside the money, he calls day in, day out to check on me. The regional executives, they were always in my house to see how I'm faring. My national executives, you've all been wonderful. I want to say a very big thank you to all of you for the swift response when my chairman called. You obliged. And I am so thankful to my president, Ms. Perpetual. Actually, I'm one person that is so passionate now about breast cancer. I lost about 4 to 5 nurses during this journey. Yes. And it is my dream to meet my president so that we can dialogue or talk about other issues concerning breast cancer. So I want to say a very big thank you to Ms. Perpetual, all the executives. I say bravo for the good work done.
Good morning, comrades. Hey. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, our colleagues. Good afternoon, friends from the media who are here. Good afternoon to our colleagues who are online. Good afternoon to the general public. So this is a press statement we are issuing on the outcome of the meeting held with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which came on yesterday, 15th July 2025. Following the meeting held with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association was invited to a meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to discuss the outstanding items in the collective agreement beyond the two items which had been communicated by the Honorable Minister of Health at the 10th July 2025 meeting held at the Parliament House. Parties present at the meeting with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission were the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance, and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission itself as the host. In the said meeting, the last two items out of the initial four items which had been tabled as priority at the 12th June 2025 meeting, namely the 8% non-basic allowance and the fuel allowance, were discussed. After extensive deliberations, it was agreed that 1. On the 8% non-basic allowance, which was intended to appreciate the market premium of nurses and midwives upwards, the employer was emphatic that there were serious distortions which has affected the market premium of nurses and midwives, and that they would take urgent steps to rectify same. 2. Fuel allowance will be paid to those who are entitled to it at government-approved rates and not at the rate of 10.99 or the ex-pump rate as contained in our collective agreement. 3. All other items as contained in the Appendix B of the collective agreement are to be costed and included in the 2026 national budget. Additionally, the meeting agreed as follows: that 1, the employer would write to its agencies to implement the continuous professional development allowance, including the PIN and IN renewal, the 13th month allowance, the medical subsidy, and other related Category 2 and 3 allowances as contained in the collective agreement. 2, the employer is to ensure that all nurses and midwives have their accumulated required CPDs and are duly licensed by December 31st, 2025 to start practicing legally by 1st January 2026. Having considered all that has transpired on our front as workers, we wish to reiterate that we are here because someone chose to forget the collective agreement of nurses and midwives of Ghana during the transition. Someone also chose not to include the cost of our collective agreement in the national budget, read on 11th March 2025, and more importantly, the fact that a small section of our fraternity chose to curtail the implementation of our collective agreement last year. Never again should this happen in our beloved nation, Ghana, because nurses and midwives contribute significantly to economic development by virtue of the fact that the care we provide ensures a healthy population and direct increase in productivity within the formal and informal sectors of the nation. We deserve to be respected Shemu ha the person de tudwa ne say a Parliamentary Select Committee on Health Asia no Honorable Minister ye Sector Minister Maeti ase say nyoma mienu na aban agye atum se me de budget no mo de beka ho de ka kosi ye ne say fair wages eto nsa fraying say omo pese omo ne ye share 15 July 2025 nra enti enra ye boaboa ye ho ene omo ko hia ye meeting na se no na ya ministry officials wo ho Ministry of Finance wo ho representative of the Dean of the Teaching Hospitals no so wo ho and fair wages na nkasa so no mo so wo ho the ka ekosi ye ne say 8% non-basic allowance na ye hwe nim say omo be calculate aka ho ama epia ye market premium no akosro no ye employer na gitu mu say we hu say ampa ye market premium no eho ato chima kakra na emom no enye bibia omo betumi aye nesisi a enti no omo sreye se ye ma omo mre na omo nto omo bo ase na omo hwehwe emu yie na omo fa yie ento yie efa ye full allowance no omo gitu mu say eno de enimanimu ya no omo behwe na omo de aka media budget ne ho na emom no omo betua no according to government approved rate enko ye say rate na we ye collective agreement ni mu no 10.99 no ana say ex pump rate no eno na omo de beye adwuma de tosomiensa omo ye say neoma na aka training na efa appendix B of ye collective agreement no omo behwe na national budget for 2026 no omo de aka ho de tosobiomo no omo ka say ye ya ehyiemu no ye gi atum say ye employer no betro ama agencies na ehye na senini na say ye CPD nsemsem ye pain and eye renewal nsemsem ye 13th month allowance nsemsem any medical subsidy work collective agreement ni mu no eka category 2 and 3 allowances fire ho nye general public ones no de fire ho no omo betro agencies no no ma kire omo se omo hwe na omo fanye adwuma ye employer no so saji to mu say obehwe na ye CPDs for the year 2025 ebeboa ye ama ye renew your licenses for the year 2026 no omo behwe na omo adi ho adwuma se na ebe ya or how na ya fam 2025 no ensa in unity in the year 2026 International Council no to adwen no National Council no agiatum say in seminar na etwetwe yebo ye ka say ye betetua se neoma anko ye no bebi a ye do no ya twe bibia san ama ye hwe nim se employer no neoma na aka ye wo se omo ye no omo behwe nim no ma ye enti na ye frame mo na ensema ye pese ye de tudwa no ye pese ye da mu ni na amase se mo ahwe de ye nsem atudwa ama Ghana afana nyina ate ye nurses ne ye midwife so ye da mase se mo ata ye chi ama ye bedu bebi a ye dui trade unions and associations in the general public so omo tie ye nsem ye ho ya omo mobo omo ka bi ma ye no ye da omo ni na ase enti na enedue asema ye pese ye de tudware no ye da mo ase. So at this point, if there are any questions, please let us have them and then we will answer them accordingly.
Madam President, Right. Madam President, I was a bit surprised when you said your last engagement, which happened yesterday, sought to renegotiate a portion of the collecting agreement, which says that a 10.99 fuel allowance cannot be paid, but rather a government-approved rate. Is it fair to consider that then your previous negotiations done in 2024, you didn't do any due diligence to the document? Question number one. Number two, are you going to also say that your consistent engagement with the media, what I have called accountability series, is the reason you have been able to achieve this feat? If it is so, how are you going to sustain this? That the media will not be in a situation where when they need information, it becomes very difficult to get access to the national leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So on the first question, there is nothing about we not having done due diligence. In negotiations, the agreements are captured in a document that is spearheaded by the employer. As it was captured, that is how it's contained in the agreements. However, within the whole public sector, we know fuel allowance is paid to certain category of workers, and the total amount of gallons or the total amount of liters is paid at government approved rates. So if the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, which has the mandate to spearhead this, is giving us this information, for as far as we are concerned, it makes a lot of sense. So we have taken that, and we have given them assurance that we are ready to work with it on that line. We don't have any problem with it, and in fact, it hasn't caused us any disadvantage. It's the same number of liters or the same number of gallons per those who are supposed to receive it. For those who are supposed to receive it, we will receive it per the rate approved by government for all public sector workers. So we are not disadvantaged in any way. In terms of using this platform in the course of actions that we have taken to spearhead the implementation of our collective agreement, we would have said it has served our purpose. And we thank you all for having helped us. What we know is that if we had not taken this course of action, the collective agreement's implementation would have started in January 2026, probably. So whatever we have done as a union, the support we have received from our nurses and midwives, the support we have received from the media, from the general public, has brought us this far. And that is why we have stated clearly in the statement that we thank you all very much. Accountability series, we have ended it today. Going forward, if there's need to open accountability series again, we will do same. Inviting the media to put across whatever needs to be communicated. If we deem it fit, if the National Council deems it fit, why not? We will do that. Where we feel that it is an issue that we just need to deal with our members directly, we will do same. But in this particular instance, where it borders on our collective agreements, an agreement that is signed between the employer and the worker, which shouldn't bring disaffection between the parties, and the fact that we had to follow up for several months for this, that is the reason why we have come to where we are. So just to respond to you, where we need to engage the press or the media in any press briefing, we will do same. For this particular matter, we want to believe that where we have reached, it calls on us, or it beholds on us as leaders to follow up on the employer, and we will do same. Where there is need to call you again, we'll invite you. Thank you.
What are the errors with the 8%? What exactly are the errors?
There are no errors. There are no errors. If you look at our collective agreement, it says that 180 liters to be paid at government at the 8% non-basic allowance. There are no errors. It's just a misunderstanding, as we see it as just a misunderstanding. Our understanding seems to be different from what the understanding of the employer, and there's need for time for us to We need to give them time to understand how we understand it. But one thing that is very clear, which we all understand, is that there are serious distortions with the market premium. And over the years, it has disadvantaged us such that the percentage of market premium that is supposed to be received by the various cadre of our nurses and midwives has dwindled seriously. And there's need to bridge the gap. How do we bridge the gap? It is for the employer to make that determination and let us know.
Very well.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. My name is Prosper Kubi, and I'm taking the online questions from our colleagues who are watching us from the various workplaces. Mr. Timothy, Madam President, kindly clarify the 8% for me is bringing confusion here. PCA is also asking, but why the tree, Ghana nurses? Abdul is saying, please, our salaries have not been paid for the past 8 months. Sandra Oche is also asking, will there be a back date for the payments? Then Tizabila is also asking, MOH should open the way for international migration smoothly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier about the 8%. What I'm saying is that our understanding of the 8% non-basic allowance was to bridge the gap in terms of the losses we have made on the market premium over the years. And not just to serve as a percentage on the current basic salary, but to add on to the percentage, the current real percentage that we have. The employer is saying that they do not understand it that way. However, they understand that if you take the various category of market premium we are supposed to receive, we have those who have 58%, those who have 65%, those who have 75%. That has dwindled to between 14% and 17%, which is a great disservice to us. And therefore, they understand that clearly and are going to look at it critically and help to mitigate it. So we are going to follow up on saying, why tree? We know that every nurse and midwife in Ghana understands English. We are having a media engagement here. There are tree stations. And when we do the English, we also do the tree so that they can carry the news in tree for us. The tree version is not for you, our colleagues of the noble profession. It is for the media station. And the media station, we know, is also going to communicate to the general public. In the general public, there are those who appreciate the news in tree far more than when it is in English. So I hope you understand that. Those who have worked, our colleagues who are working, and for 8 months you have not received your salaries. We have taken the data. As we speak, the data is almost completed, and we are going to engage the employer seriously on it. So be rest assured that we will not rest on our oars. We are going to follow up on it for you. Why wouldn't the employer open doors for international migration? I must tell you, it's on the table of the employer. They are discussing it. The only hitch there is that the high-income earning countries are interested in nurses who have worked and have years of experience, a minimum of 3 years experience, and of course with a first degree and with an add-on specialty, you are a hotcake. However, our colleagues who are at home and not employed, they're close to 62,000 of them. They don't have that working experience. They don't have, majority of them don't have the first degree. Majority of them also don't have the specialty. So it is not for us to be leading this. We know that the Ministry of Health is leading that discussion with a few countries, and we'll see how it goes. We have taken part in some technical discussions in the past. Recently, we were invited for a meeting to discuss the proposals that were on table, and we have made inputs. We are hoping that it will be treated holistically. In treating it holistically means that we look at the education of the nurse and midwife in Ghana. Is there any point in still training our colleagues at the auxiliary level or even at the diploma level? It's important that we move away from this and train at the degree level, putting a system that can help each professional move faster in terms of getting a specialty training, and then we can have enough of those cadre of nurses to export or go into bilateral agreements with other countries and allow them to move out there and work. When you move out to work, you are pursuing your own socioeconomic interests, isn't it? Your financial stability and all of those things. If the employer doesn't want you to go, it means that the conditions of service needs to be improved. One way of doing that is implementing our collective agreement. And we have talked about this over and over again. If your circumstance is not good and you want to travel abroad and work, nobody can stop you. It's your right. If you go to the Ministry of Health and anybody is stopping you or they are delaying your clearance or anything, let us know. And we'll take it upon ourselves to follow up. We have had instances in the past where the ministry had put in some measures just to curtail the movement of nurses and midwives. It is not right. It is never an incentive package or a retention strategy that can mitigate the migration of professionals. If you do that, you are only pushing them to use unconventional ways of moving abroad, where they will use agencies and use other measures, and they will end up there, and as nationals of Ghana, they will be what? Exploited. So it's important that we allow the system to be free, the process to be smooth, and rather guide our professionals on how to move if they want to move. For us as an association, we support the bilateral agreements, which is really safer for professionals to move out there, because it guarantees your remuneration, it guarantees your other conditions of service, it guarantees your security, it guarantees your pension or your gratuity and all those things, and therefore it is the safest way to move out. But not everybody can have that opportunity. After all, when these countries are coming to recruit, they recruit a limited number, which means that individuals will still pursue their own interests through the required institutions in these destination countries, or they will try to use agencies that will approach them and try to recruit them. But the most important issue is that we must protect the interests of our nurses and midwives who want to move abroad and work. Movement or migration is a right of the worker. Thank you very much. There are still some questions.
I think
the last one is what?
Whether they will backdate the payment.
Backdating or arrears was not part of the employer's proposal. They have indicated that it is going to be difficult for them to do that. In the follow-ups that we will be doing, we'll continue to follow up and see whether it is a possibility. If it is not, what we should assure ourselves with is that the life of this document is almost ended, and we will have the opportunity to renegotiate our conditions of service. Thank you very much. So we have come to the end of this press briefing, and we want to thank you all for making time to join us today. Thank you. God richly bless us all.